We'll run the league with this, see where we go. Alright. So, thank you everybody for hanging out today. Thanks for everyone watching on YouTube later. Thanks for everybody catching the stream live at twitch.tv/the_control freak. Playing some Sultai Shadow. We played it last week. I think we went like 3-2, 4-1 with it. But the idea here is we're wanting to keep access to all these like really good counter spells we have access to. Drown in the Lock, Stubborn Denial, Mystical Dispute. Be more enabling than like the Grixis builds. So we've got Ferocious for Stubborn Denial more often with Gurmag and Tarmogoyf. We're trying to play kind of that shadow control role of get a dude down, protect it, get to bashing, get our opponent dead quickly. This green splash gives us access to things like Tarmogoyf, so we have a little more consistency. Assassin's Trophy to deal with everything from like lands to annoying planeswalkers to enchantments and artifacts that we might not be able to deal with otherwise. And then it also gives us a splash for Giganta in the sideboard. So we get our free companion that comes in and just kind of pops our opponent in the face for an even 5. So the only changes we made from the deck last week were we took out the Kaido for a Grist the Hunger Tide. We dropped the... What we dropped? We dropped the second Assassin's Trophy, moved it to the board for the Dress Down in the main. And then in the sideboard, we dropped the second Soul Guide Lantern for the Assassin's Trophy that we moved over. And then we dropped the Abrupt Decay for a Dress Down. Give us a little more play against like the Urza Saga decks and things like that. So this is what we're rolling with. Let's see how it goes. So Sultai Death Shadow. Join, play a match. Did you see the blue-black with Shadow Mortality list? I did not. Let's see what this looks like. 2 Shadow Mortality. 4 Shadow, 4 Murktide, 4 Street Wraith. Consider, push stub, Thoughtseize, Counterspell, Drown. 10 Indulgence, Archmage's Charm, Dismerge, Rest Down. Well, that's pretty cool. I think that's like a decent Shadow Mortality deck. It's not like a Shadow Mortality deck, but it's a decent deck list that has Shadow Mortality. You're just cutting like a couple cantrips that you would be using to find your threats to add in a couple extra threats. And they've got like, I wouldn't play Shadow Mortality without 4 Street Wraith and probably Dismember. They've got all that in there. So yeah, I'd probably be willing to try that out. I think they did a good job with their numbers. Alright, looks like Stream Decker's back up and running, so let's update that. Like, I like that they didn't use Shadow of Mortality as like a build around. Like, oh, I need 4 copies of this card for it to be playable. Like, no, it's just a 9th and 10th threat that you're likely able to play as the game goes on. I would also wonder if that kind of build is better with Night's Whisper over Tainted Indulgence. I mean, it pairs a little better with Shadow Mortality. And they were only running, I think, 2 Tainted Indulgence. So, could be an idea. Alright, opponent mulligan to 4 pretty quickly. At least 4. So they're probably on Tron. We'll see in a matter of seconds. So let's go Bauble. We've got all fetch lands, so we're going to see what they're drawing into. Primeval Titan. Really good for dress down. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Alright, so our step one is finding a threat. Which is probably going to constitute just like adding Giganta to our hand. So we know 3 of their 4 cards. That's their 4th. In case we find a shadow. Let's just go ahead and add Giganta. All right. So if I go land, I can play Giganta next turn. Otherwise, I'm cracking Peatland looking for a threat. I guess... I'd really rather find like a Shadow or a Tarmogoyf. Because my opponent's just like 1 land away from playing Primeval Titan. Round in the locks, not really great. So we're probably going to have to, like, next turn, sack Peatland, maybe try to find a Thoughtseize to take out this Titan. Or, like, Infernal Grasp or something can help. Okay, that's not bad. Alright, so let's go ahead and crack Peatland in case we find a Thoughtseize. Go get a basic swamp. I guess we probably want basic island. We've got a lot of blue cards in our hand. Alright, so what's our plan here? I know I want to at least be able to dress down the Titan. So I could Tainted Indulgence, look for a way to Thoughtseize the Titan. Or I can just like play out Gurmag. I think I'm just going to play out Gurmag. Plan on dress downing the Titan trigger. And untap with Tainted Indulgence to try to find an answer to it. So let's go like that. Say go. This is one of those, like, times that I would rather have Drown in the Loch be counterspell. Obviously not now, but... Alright, so here's a dress down. So we've got, like, Murderous Cut. We've got Infernal Grasp. We've got Overgrown Tomb. So blue. Black. Stitch a Stubborn Denial. So am I just going Shockin, Goyf, pass? Am I going Shockin, Gurmag Angler, pass? So we just go Goyf, pass. Let's see, we had Blood Chief's Thirst is one we could draw to. So how many unconditional removal spells do we have in the main? We've got... Come on. Stream Deckers wanting to be a little laggy. All right, so Grist, Blood Chief's Thirst, Assassin's Trophy, Infernal Grasp, Murderous Cut, all just like straight up kill a Titan. So 5 potential. So the hope here is that our opponent does something like attack with Titan, go get Bounce Land, Teleria West. Well, I guess they can't transmute for a pact and get a Dryad. Looks like they just have another Titan. So they can go get Vesuva and Boros Garrison, copy the Slayer's Stronghold, haste up the new Titan, attack with both of them. Yep. Would have loved it if they had found a pact instead of an actual Titan, but here we are. There's Vesuva, Boros Garrison. So we'll have to like trade off with, or chump one of these Titans and trade off a dude with the other. Which does at least give us chances to draw into our ways of dealing with Titans. You get like Bounce Land, Bounce Land. Pick up Stronghold. Pick up Cavern. Okay. Maelstrom Pulse, where are you? Maelstrom Pulse wouldn't do a lot with the hasted up Titan, right? Yep. Alright. So our big falling point that game was just not being able to find a threat soon enough. Like, we had good interaction, we just needed dudes. Stub's really bad. I just shave a push. Keep one thing in. Started a league with stock GDS 4-0. Have to finish the league later. How can you stop yourself at 4-0? That's like ungodly self-control. This hand's fine. Had to go to work. Forget work. Got trophies to obtain. Bosses will understand. Arasta of the Endless Web. That is... Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider token with reach. Well, I'm probably just going to take that. Arasta, the Endless Web. Ah, yes, the top deck Amulet. So we got Bounce Land, Dryad. We do have answers to like the Dryad. And Azusa, you say? I should have responded to the Azusa with the dress down. Like, I kind of want to save the dress down, but I could have just, like, stopped this. So now they get to just like float mana, play their Arboreal or Dryad. Yeah, Arboreal Grazer. Replay the Sanctuary, play the Dryad. But if I dressed down, I could have gone to my turn. Well, I guess I would have had to find Revolt to get rid of the Azusa. Only card different in GDS for 2 Unmoored Ego and 2 Unmoored Ego. Who hurt you? Alright, Thoughtseize. I don't know about anything in my opponent's hand. Well, I know that's a lie. I know everything in their hand. So do I just want a Tainted Indulgence? Discarded Drown because they have Bajuka Bog. Then we get to play out Gurmag. Watch out. All right. Making progress. So they can bounce land, float some blue, transmute Teleria West. Or to draw Urza Saga. Bog, sure. Yep. Say okay with me. They just transmute Teleria West for a Teleria West. Is that a thing they do? Don't think I've ever seen transmute T West for a T West. Is there some land storm count I don't know about? You naturally draw the Titan. Alright, so I need to respond to this with Dress Down. If I wait for this to resolve, they just get to like put the thing on the battlefield. And it's too late to trigger. So Infernal Grasp is a good pickup. I know their hand is Teleria West and Selesnya Sanctuary. Let's find a Shadow. That's like almost a Shadow. It's a Shadow if you squint hard enough. Alright, carry on. Float mana, no construct. Transmute the T West. Make 1.5 trillion mana. approximately. I might be rounding down a little bit. So if for some reason they had like gone for Summoner's Pact before they floated a bunch of mana, and we'll be able to get them here because I can dress down the Titan so they can't play any more lands. They can't do anything. Thrun the last... Do they know they're dead to Summoner's Pact here? They're trolling me. Alright, so dress down trigger on the stack will kill the Thrun, because America. Oh, we're absolutely terminating Thrun to send a message. I just, like, don't actually know if my opponent knows that they're just dead to Summoner's Pact. Yeah. Like, why didn't they just get Titan and try to survive? Oh, well. Alright, game 3. What am I swapping up? Kind of want the second EE. I am I cutting? It's just another drown. Even if we don't win, we're the real victors here. We got to kill a Thrun the last troll with a targeted removal spell. Take that, WotC, in your fire design. Alright. Goyf, Shadow, Infernal Grasp, EE, opponents on the mulligan. We'll take it. Alright. So let's see what we're drawing into. Watery Grave. I don't really want a Watery Grave. I think I'm just going to play out this EE here. Opponent's a little lost in the sauce of techie sideboard green creatures. What, with Thrun and Thrasta and... Or is it Arasta? MTG Arasta. Thrasta is like the big dinosaur, right? Yeah, it's Arasta. I can't keep up with all these new age busted MTG cards. Alright, so our Boreal Grazer, Growth Chamber, Garen Brig, Unknown. So let's get down the Tarmogoyf. I guess we can like bobble first to see what they're drawing into. Might change our decision a little bit. I don't think Beseiju changes my decision. Or I could just blow up this EE. Do I hate just blowing up the EE? Three cards in hand. If they had like an Azusa or something, Azusa or Dryad, they would have played it last turn. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. Especially... that's tough. Because, like, I would have been pretty happy if they besaged my EE away. Endurance, you got it. Alright, so they can play a Titan this turn. So I want to get down Shadow and pass. Hold up Infernal Grasp. Like, we know about the Besage, so they can play that, activate Garenbrig, cast a Titan. You gonna attack? Please attack. Dang. The old post-combat. Summoner's Pact is fine. They're gonna get Thrun or a Rasta or something. If they play a Rasta, I respond with Tainted Indulgence. So then I might be able to just like untap, kick a Turok, get the last card out of hand. Maybe they get the Thrun here. They do get the Thrun. You've got a Thrun. Alright, that's good. So let's get rid of Bloodchief's Thirst. Alright, so am I kicking Turok? I don't know the last card in hand. I'm attacking with Shadow, because if they want to trade the Thrun for the Shadow right now, I'm fine with that. Get rid of Endurance. I don't think playing the Turok is worth it. I could play the Tarmogoyf and just be more mana efficient. I think I like that. I forgot they had to pay for Pact. That was a punt. I should have just played out like Goyf and Shadow. That was bad. Get rid of Fatal Push. Can we get a counter on stream whenever Indulgence draws 2 with no discard? That's going to be a big 0 for a while. What's my plan here? Am I just like playing Shadow Pass? Or if I kick a Turok, like, am I even that upset if they top deck a Titan? I don't think I am. So let's just get the last card out of hand. This might turn into a situation where I just like Infernal Grasp my own Turok to grow Shadow past Thrun. Or Rasta. I barely know her. That also grows Shadow past Thrun. So let's attack with Shadow and Goyf. Hiya. No, regeneration. It's too powerful for modern. And we'll just pass holding up double Infernal Grasp. Because what I can do is if they play like a Titan or something, I can always Infernal Grasp the Arasta first. And then go back and Infernal Grasp the Thrun. Which, if I go Infernal Grasp Arasta here, they make a spider, and I Infernal Grasp the token. They're dead. You, Chow. Last card in hand is that Turn Timber Symbiosis. So I can just like kick Turok, make him discard that, keep my old Turok, and they're just playing all these bad cards from Murktide. Oh, is that what those are? Rasta and Thrun from Murktide? Thrun doesn't seem that good against Murktide. But I mean, I guess I can see a Rasta. And I wouldn't really say I got the splash damage. Like, the game we lost was to them just doing Amulet Titan things game 1, game 2, and 3 when they played Thrun and Arasta and all that stuff. Like, we steamrolled that part. So I'd say we got like the Splash Benevolence. Sleazeball, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome Tuesday so far. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out. I don't think either's good. Murktide is just a bad matchup for Titan no matter how you build your deck. I can see that. I could absolutely see that. Oh, I want to play with a turn 3 Grist. Let's roll with it. Start off on a Verdant Catacomb so opponent doesn't suspect Stubborn Denial for their turn 1 play. My friend's beating it, but he had 4 summoning traps in the sideboard. Whew. Fan me off. Fan me off. Or 4 copies of what's the card? It's like 1 green, the next creature spell or next green spell you play can't be countered. Savage Summoning, is that it? Card Savage Summoning. Yeah. Gotta play that one. All right. See what our opponent is up to. What do we got? Has Advanced Pioneer PTQ happened yet? Yeah, it happened last weekend. Ledger Shredder. Boo. Maybe they play a Bobble and Crack It main phase. Oval Chase Daredevil. Okay. So I've got to kill this Ledger Shredder with this trigger on the stack. What did I play? I played Blue-Red Delver and made it to top 8. Lost in the first round of top 8. But it was pretty fun. Delver Secrets, not a good card. Don't recommend it. But like Young Pyromancer, Sprite Dragon, Ledger Shredder, Treasure Cruise was just like fun to play. I had Delver flip one time the entire tournament. And it was like a game that I started off turn 1 Delver, turn 2 second Delver plus like a cantrip or something. And turn 3 I revealed Treasure Cruise and like flipped both my Delvers. And that was the only time the card flipped. And that was like the nuts flip. So do not go around registering a bunch of Delver Secrets because you think it's good, because it's not. It's really not. Pioneer taking over, no more Modern? I mean, what are we playing here? We got fetch lands and Grists and pretty much everything else is Pioneer legal, but hey, you gotta start somewhere. Alright, so let's minus Grist and kill this Emery. Chow. Get on out of here. Now, do I want to main phase Tainted Indulgence? I don't think so. I just want to pass. Paper, I mean, Modern's still prevalent in Paper. Like, there's Modern tournaments coming up. But they have really wanted to push Pioneer at the very least, like this season. Get on out of here, Shredder. Nobody wants you. Are you going to Bogalusa? Probably not. I think that's like this weekend. I'm pretty sure. Alright, so let's Tainted Indulgence in response to this. So they don't get a trigger off me. Make a dude, play a shadow. Now hold the polluted delta to discard the Tainted Indulgence. See, at least for my local area, the push for Pioneer is community driven. Many people are sick of Modern and asking Source to mix it up and add in new formats for RCQs. Yeah, a lot of the people here wanted to play Modern, and the store decided Pioneer for the RCQs. But I'm pretty sure that was just like sell back inventory of stuff. Alright. So they can play a second spell. I don't want to play a second spell because I don't want to make this shredder big enough to kill my Grist. Like, they've got Oval Chase Daredevil in hand. Yeah, so they can get like a free grow on their Ledger Shredder. But I probably will Tainted Indulgence end of turn for the mana efficiency's sake. Asmo because they discarded with Ledger Shredder. Yeah, like, Pioneer's been firing very regularly over here. I haven't been going, but that's more because I like being here. Like, I'd probably go more often if I'd found a deck that I liked in Pioneer, but I just, like, haven't found anything I really like yet. Alright. Make an insect. Lead on another Tainted Indulgence. Alright, so I probably need to kill... Ugh. That's a rough one. I think I just have to kill the Ledger Shredder. It's like, kill this, Inquisition away the cookbook. I guess I can just Emery it back. But at least I can Grist kill the Emery next turn. Or Grist kill the Grist kill the Emery. Nothing from Pioneer's really exciting. That's been like my problem, is I've played decks and they all felt very medium. There just like wasn't anything that I was super thrilled to be playing. Did they get an extra card somewhere? Or did they bobble last turn and I missed it? Because I could have sworn that they had Asmo Cookbook in hand. I discarded Asmo. Or I discarded Cookbook. Okay. So... you die. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, they got a 1. I can't count. I needed a way to lower my life total. Math is tough. So we'll go Goyf. Add Gigantha. Say go. Oh man, math is tough. Needed a way to lower my life. Kevin, what's up? Were you able to make Abzan good last night? I had you on in the background for a while. But I will apologize. I was not paying as much attention as I could have been. So they could go Spellbomb, me, replay Spellbomb themselves. Abzan sucks. IO3 dropped a league off stream too. So, are pathways a trap, do you think? Because, I've tried making a Grixis mana base with some of the pathways, and they always feel, atrocious. Alright, third Asmo is pretty rough. I need a kill spell off the top. Depends on how many double pips you have and how intense your deck is. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think my deck's that color intensive. But probably need to go back and double check. It's going to be Spellbomb me, Asmo kill the Goyf. Yep. Alright, so they can untap Emery. Is Zoo good in Pioneer? I have no idea. I mean, maybe if there's a two-color zoo deck, red-green zoo. But I think once you get past, two colors, the mana base is really tricky. Stubborn Denial. So untap the Emery, block with it. And I'm going to go with just playing Gigantha being better than holding up Stub. Guess it depends what you mean by zoo. Yeah, I guess when I think zoo, I just think a bunch of 1 and 2 aggressive key creatures, 1 and 2 mana aggressive creatures, and some interaction and stuff like that. Bunch of creatures. And I could see that being fine, but if you're thinking modern 3 and 4 color zoo or something ported over to Pioneer, seems iffy. Whiskey God. So I'm going to drop this command here. It's not for you specifically, don't worry. It's because people always ask about Ledger Shredder and Tainted Indulgence in every single blue-black list. And it's basically because this is a reactive... Let's see, so I can make... Yeah, we gotta block this. It's a reactive deck. You're not proactively triggering Ledger Shredder. You're not... It's not enabling Ferocious. It's not a clock. You've got to cut something to fit the card in. It's just like not providing anything that I'm that interested in having in the deck. And maybe it's better with Ledger Shredder. I don't know. Like, my biggest comment about like this list for the most part is, and this is what I said last time we were on stream with Sultai Shadow, nobody has put up any sort of consistent results with Sultai Shadow. Meaning, nobody knows what the best list is. So, like, as much as anybody wants to say, oh, you should play XYZ, you don't know. Nobody knows. And for that reason, like, I don't think it's some sacred cow card that we need to, like, ungodly cling to because we just can't play Magic if we don't have Ledger Shredder. Like, the card's good. I'll say the card's good. I know the card's good. But I don't think we just have to, like, auto-include it in everything every time we build a list with blue. Alright, so I think I'm going to cut some amount of hand disruption. Yeah, Ragavan definitely wasn't this consistent. It was asked about a lot, for sure. I really want Grist. What am I cutting? I still have to make another cut. Maybe I'll cut like a Gurmag because we saw Nihil Spellbomb. Alright, what have I missed in the comments? And like Whiskey God, I want to make sure you know I'm not targeting any of this like at you at all. So don't feel like I'm saying it's a bad question or something. It's a fine question. I just have to answer it a lot, so I made a command for it. Good hand. I think Shredder needs an emote just because. Let's see, a lot of MTGOs blind leading the blind. Sometimes. We considered 4 main deck surgical extractions. You can thought use their best card and then remove the other 2 for 4 of them. Do this 3 other times. 3 card advantage, good against every deck. Let me know. Well, I like 4 main deck Ashiok because my opponent has a graveyard, and I don't want them to do that. Legit. Yeah, so like Ledger Shredder is again a good card. I don't think anybody's denying that. It's just I don't know why we so quickly turn to this idea that like you have to play Ledger Shredder. Like, you can't play Magic if you're not playing Ledger Shredder. So I don't want to take Ledger Shredder because they can just unearth it on turn 1. So I think I'm just going to take Prismatic Ending. Take their answer to my shadow. Spellbomb, sure. Alright, so I'm going to play Goyf here. I know that it's it can be Spellbomb, but I want to be mana efficient and have like Shadow plus Dress Down next turn. Like Ragavan, pretty much all people thought it was an auto include. So I think Ragavan is like... Ragavan is a decent comparison for people asking, but I think Ragavan almost is at the point where you almost include it everywhere. You don't actually include it everywhere, but there's just a lot of decks that benefit from having Ragavan, and it's a really, really low cost to play the card. But, like, Ledger Shredder, I think benefits a lot if you've got situations where you're casting multiple cards a turn, proactively. I guess I could have just played one Shadow and passed, but then I'm not presenting lethal, so no, 2 Shadows is right. I'm going to start making alt accounts to troll Mike with more Shredder content. Or Shredder comments. Please don't. Please don't. Very few red decks would not benefit from Ragavan for Shredder needing specific sequencing to be good. I agree with that. Like, that's the point I was making there, is like, Shredder is good, but you need to be playing, like, you can't rely on casting one spell a turn to make Ledger Shredder good. Or you can't rely on playing, like, reactive counter spells to play or make Ledger Shredder good. When you've got, like, the blue-red Murktide deck, they're an excellent Ledger Shredder deck because they have Considers and Ragavans, Dragon's Rage Channelers, Murktides, like all this proactive stuff. Where when you're on like the all Fatal Push, Counterspell, Drown in the Lock list, like not so great. So I'm going to go to my upkeep, crack this. I wanted to do this on my upkeep so that I would get rid of the card or get rid of a land out of my deck. Plus, if they were like waiting for me to tap out, if they had something, I could respond with Dress Down now. All right, Polluted Delta. So let's go Delta, swing. Alright, is there anything they can do to kill me here? I don't think so. All they've got up's Urza Saga, so they can't counterspell. They can make a food, but doesn't do anything. Yeah. Shredder also really shines when your deck is casting 2+ spells a turn and you're facing down an opponent doing the same, i.e. the Murktide Mirror. It's a card that helps swing those grinding mirror matches. Like, yeah, I think that if your goal is to beat the Murktide deck, then I think playing like a Shredders in a list like this is completely reasonable. But I think if your goal is to go out and present like a proactive game plan in every matchup, then I don't think Ledger Shredder is where you want to be here. That's like my 2 cents on that one. I think I'm going to board out Grist on the play. Go back in at Thoughtseize. Go like this. I want to board out a Drown in the Lock because of Nihil Spellbomb. Is the bird strong against 4 color? It's decent, but it's like, it's card selection, not card advantage. And you really need like card advantage in that matchup. Ooh. Huh. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to trust that I draw lands. This is a very iffy one, but I'm thinking Culling Ritual is like my lights out card. So if I happen to see lands and I get to Culling Ritual, I feel really good. And then I've got ways to kill like all of their dudes that come out early. Got an answer to like Urza's Saga here. I'm not pro shadow or in every shadow list. Just saying why it's so good in some decks, but it's not a blanket card. We don't need more cards versus Murktide, in my opinion. I mean, like I said, I believe it's a good card. I just don't think the same thing. I don't think it's an auto include in every shadow list. And I just don't know like what has caused the card to be viewed as an auto include in every list. Like it's good in mid-range matchups. It's good in control matchups. And so it's probably good in like the current meta. But I don't think it's... See? Just believe that you're going to draw the lands and you'll draw them. Ritual versus food or hammer. It was for hammer, but the fact that I've got it in the deck versus food is not something I'm going to complain about. It is good versus Cascade decks, you're right. Do you think Preordain would be too good for Modern? Yes. Yes, I do. Alright, so we'll let this go. If they have an Asmo, we do have to kill that. Unless our plan is entirely, like, time sieve. Okay. I guess we can just trophy the time sieve. Get it off the board. Do our mana efficiency thing. Could have trophied the cookbook too, but I don't really have an answer to them just Asmoing for another cookbook. So let's get a breeding pool. We'll just go Gurmag plus Shadow. Or am I saving the Shadow for potentially post-Ritual? No, I'm going to go ahead and play out the Shadow. If I give up a Shadow for a Ritual, but I like wipe their board completely, I think that's an okay trade. It's the same thing as Serum Visions. We're going to agree to disagree on that one. Alright, wouldn't mind finding an answer to this Academy manufacturer here. Cowards wouldn't even unban Misstep. I know! That's all I want. Like, What if I could misstep this Shadow Spear? How much better would that be? Drown in the lock. Am I just sitting on drown here? Well, they could spellbomb themselves. Yeah, let's just pass. I can't drown an Asmo. That's a pretty big deal. I was going to say, if they go for, like, end of turn, drown, or spellbomb themselves to try to draw a card, I'd respond with drown. So... so many triggers. I could have tried to drown the Academy Manufacturer with the Oval Chase trigger on the stack. Maybe that's something I'm interested in. Class card. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to drown this with the trigger on the stack. So either they have to lose the Manufacturer or lose the Oval Chase Daredevil. So if I find a way to get Revolt, we do that. Sure. Fetch land? So close. So I could Fatal Push my own Shadow to be able to kill this. Which is kind of funny. Alright. They're tapped out. Is there anything that I want to do because they're tapped out? Yeah, the nuke cost 4. If I was running Crime Punishment, I could have Punishment here. Is that the card, Crime Punishment, the split card? Like, it's probably not worth killing my Shadow just to kill this Daredevil and attack for 5. Oh, but is it? Because if I kill this... If I kill this attack for 5, they go to their turn. They discard whatever they draw to get back Daredevil. Play it back out. They don't have another treasure, so they can't re-equip the Shadow Spear. They don't have a 6th land, so they can't crack a food token, so they'd be dead. The downside is if they draw exactly... No, if they draw Asmo, they can't discard and play it, right? No, but they could crack a clue token, discard the second card, play Asmo. Oh, that's tough. That's really, really tough. Oh, man. Like, am I okay losing to exactly Asmo in one of their top 2 cards? Because they can't just, like, crack 2 food and stay alive next turn. I think I'm going to. Because if I draw a land and get to Culling Ritual, I'm in a really good spot. So this is a redraw. Yep. Time saves an extra turn. Well, I wasn't really doing much against time save. Alright, so the last card is Ledger, or Oval Chase. And they just have like 2 extra turns here. Oh my god. I don't think we were beating this regardless. Strap up Shadow Spear attack. Sieve was the best draw we didn't even think about. Yeah, but I wasn't beating Sieve anyway. Because my option was like hold up, drown in the lock. I'd 100% hold up, drown in the lock. But I didn't have that option. But like time Sieve into Emery, get back Academy Manufacturer just throws everything out the window. Like, could not win against that if my life depended on it. If I'd drawn the 4th land sooner, I could have, but nope. That was just like best cards possible off the top. But I'm okay with that. Like, I was prepared to beat a creature. I was not prepared to beat a time sieve. Now my main deck 4 surgical idea isn't looking so crazy. So, the issue with surgical, and it's always funny because, like, I know you're not being super serious about it, but there were like periods in the development of the Death Shadow archetype where people were 1000% convinced that playing like multiple main deck surgical extractions was right. Because in an era where like Scape Shift and things like that were all over the place, surgical could just win you the game on the spot. Like you... Turn 1, Thoughtseize their Titan, Surgical, whatever. Now you're sitting with a bunch of Stubborn Denials and Shadows and stuff. And people thought that was like the way to go. And they always use the argument of like, oh, it's a, like you said, a 2 for 4. But 9 times out of 10, it was just like, get rid of the Titans. I've gone down half of my hand to do so. And, like, now you just don't draw a Titan, which is fine because you still have Valakuts and Scape Shifts and stuff, and you're just getting to more consistent ramp spells and Scape Shifts because we took Titans out of your deck. And then you'd have people trying to get cheeky with like, oh, turn 1, fetch shock, Thoughtseize. Oh, you've got another polluted delta in your hand and you already cracked one. Cool, I'll surgical your polluted deltas. Just never looked good. The real trick is surgicaling a fetch land versus 18 land deck. Now they have only 14. Yeah. Got an answer to like a turn 1 Ragavan. We've got Shadows. That's a pretty good draw. So let's go Watergrave, Thoughtseize. Ooh, baby. Agent of Treachery. So we're not going to put that one into our opponent's graveyard. I think I'll take this little Thoughtseize instead. Agent of Treachery. Yeah, not casting Thoughtseize is weird, but I'm guessing they were planning on like Thoughtseizing themselves to be able to get down or to be able to persist the Treachery, and you probably don't want to Thoughtseize yourself on turn 1 when you don't know what's going on. So am I just going Shadow, Shadow? Yeah, if they go Fable, make a dude, I can Fatal Push the dude, hold up, Drown in the Lock. See, someone built a crappy creativity list with agents. Why? Like, when would there ever be a point where you would rather Agent of Treachery than Archon? Unless it's like the mirror and you just want a second one. Because that's about the only time I can come up with. Alright, so let's Fatal Push the Shaman. Swing in with our Shadows. And then here, if they ditch the Agent of Treachery to the Fable and go to Persist it, we Drown and Lock the Persist. Hence crappy, right? Like, oh, I could play Emrakul or... yeah, this is fine. Emrakul or Archon or the big white creature I can't remember the name of. Or I can Agent of Treachery. Just countering this, right? Alright, so we're going to Thoughtseize to hopefully get a little more information so we just know what we're up against. So it is, in fact, creativity. So that Thoughtseize was good. Like, if I play the fetch land there, they probably just scoop before I get to do anything. If I Thoughtseize first, then I get to learn something. Alright, so I want Stub, Flusterstorm, maybe Mystical Disputes, maybe Dress Down. It's like some number of these things. Culling Ritual doesn't look so good since they've got a lot of instant speed ways to make tokens. Let's see. Grist looks pretty bad. Fatal Pushes, pretty meh. Trophies, meh. So one more cut. What do I guess Murderous Cut? That's probably fine. Yeah, let's go with this. See, he's a good player, but his decks are gimmicky, greedy, and dependent on hot draws. Don't think he really brews with the intent of every deck being tier 1. Like, I don't consider myself a brewer, so I don't really have like a leg to stand on. I like just trying stuff out. This is pretty bad. They started with 7, so I think I have to keep this, but like, I respect what Spike does. Like, if he enjoys the process and he wants to make things, because I know he talks a lot about, like, when a new set comes out, he likes seeing something that's underrepresented and saying, like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And, like, I respect that. I can't hate on somebody that's just, like, playing stuff that they enjoy. Can I beat / do I care about Obnixilis? Like, I kind of want to just take the expressive iteration. But that might not be right. It might be better to take, like, the creativity or the Obnixilis. Comes in with how much loyalty? 3. Could also just take the Lightning Axe. I think I'm going to take the iteration. What's a proponent? Somebody that's for something. Like, where an opponent would be against, a proponent is just, like, for that. They want to see whatever it is. Take an iteration, top deck an iteration. Magic, am I right? So, what's the, I need the text on casualty. Casualty. It's as an additional cost, right? So, like, if I kill something with the Obnixilis on the stack, then still casualty. Yeah, it's an additional cost. Just making sure before I mess something up here. Alright, Drowning the Lock's a good draw. So I think I'm just ditching Infernal Grasp. No. I need to keep one of my removal spells and just, like, ditch a land. So I can get down Gurmag Angler. Pass the turn. Hold up. Drown and Infernal Grasp. And if they go for, like, fetch up a Dwarven Mine, cast Creativity, I can Infernal Grasp the token. If they go Lightning Axe, I think I just drown this. Save my Gurmag. Bitter Blossom. Oh my god. Opponent, I love you. Favorite opponent ever. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I love this person. I don't know them, but I love them. So hear me out. You can run like a turn 3 Gurmag Angler and then Neoform it into Archon of Cruelty. I'm listening. So we just play like Sultai Shadow with Thought Scours, Neoforms, Street Wraiths, all that stuff. So we just have those games of like turn 1. Turn 1, we tutor up a Watery Grave, Thought Scour ourselves. Turn 2, Gurmag Angler with Stub back up. Turn 3, Neoform into Archon. Like, am I getting that right? Alright, so they cast the Ob Nixilis here, which means their last card is Indomitable Creativity. Yep. And we just create a devil. Okay. Are they dead here? So we lose 2 here. This 4/9. Infernal Grasp is lethal. So yeah, they're just dead here. So we lose 2 life. We are going to end of turn, drown in the lock this devil token. And then we untap and Infernal Grasp the rogue. And their last card's Creativity, so we know they can't do anything. The fuck is going on here? Is it not clear and evident that our opponent is playing Indomitable Creativity? Like, I don't know what part about this was hard to understand. I also miscounted because I forgot they gained life off this. So, it's fine. It's fine. We got there. Haven't played a lot of games against Ob Nixilis. I apologize for that. It's like Creativity without the mountains and you have a fair plan. I mean, I think this sounds kind of fun, honestly. Just saw a Pioneer deck that goes Neoform, Tasigur, or Hooting Mandrills into Velomachus with a 1/1 counter into 6 mana turn spells. And I thought, why not do the same in Modern, except do Gurmag Region into Archon? I mean, like, this sounds like a pretty okay deck, because you can always run, like, the backup Tainted Indulgence Persist plan. That Ob deck was cool. Well, the problem was it wasn't an Ob deck. It was an Indomitable Creativity deck. Oh, yeah, they are dead to the double Bitter Blossom trigger. You're right. But it was just like Indomitable Creativity that had a little bit of a sideboard juke. Well, actually, with Bitter Blossom and Ob Nixilis, that's probably not even sideboard. That's probably all main deck, right? We'll roll with it. But I kind of want to brew this Neoform deck after this. I'm actually like a little bit excited about that. Has there been any tension with Dress Down and Goyf? Not this league. This is the first league that we've played Dress Down in the deck. And there hasn't been any issues so far. Hiya. Ledger Shredder. These decks are just so consistent. Like, turn 1 Ragavan, you have to deal with that or you die to it. Then you deal with it on turn 1, they're just like, turn 2 Ledger Shredder. Well, crap, now I gotta deal with that or I'm probably gonna die to it. And probably got Counterspell here. Not a Counterspell. Okay. Not sure if Persist is the truth there. It's already graveyard heavy. Yeah, but like, what are you going to do if you draw your Archons? Alright. Opponent does not currently have Delirium. Hardcast. We're not going to hardcast an Archon in our, like, 19 land deck. That's not a counterspell. Okay. Oh, this is so bad. Do I give them 2 Ledger Shredder triggers, or I guess I kind of have to? But they do just have, like, Crack Fiery Eye, like, get Delirium, so I kind of have to hope that they just attack. Like, maybe they attack first. Yeah. Yeah. Swing on in. Like, this is where Ledger Shredder gets so good. Is when you just get to play these proactive spells constantly. So, do I have an out? I think my out is draw basic swamp. Or like a fetch land for basic swamp. So that I can play out Shadow, dress down on their upkeep to make all these lose flying. Or dress down in their combat step, make all these lose flying. And then get some blocks in. So they have to not draw Counterspell. If they don't draw a Counterspell, we might have this. I've got to let this resolve. Now I need to dodge Counterspell dash Ragavan. Come on, just swing out. Swing out one time. Don't think about it, just attack. Just fire in there. Why on earth would you not attack there? What on earth is your reason for not attacking? At least with just the Murktide. Like, there's like no reason to not attack with at least the Murktide there. They have Counterspell. I was going to say, if they have Counterspell, then they 1000% should have attacked. So, consider and... They kept a card off consider. Ooh. Did they ditch this? Yeah, they ditched Unholy Heat. Alright, so... I can't attack... Am I dress downing? No, because I already thought seized. So do I need to dress down on their upkeep? Dress down in response to this. Yeah, I don't understand that no attack. DRC. Okay. Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to end up winning them the game here. But I just do not understand it in the slightest. Yeah, like I needed to find Fatal Push there. Also should have kept the island, so... Like, they have drawn multiple, or played multiple iterations since that no block. Discard Ragavan. Yeah, I should have kept the island so that I had Drown in the Loch as an out as well. And now they've got Archmage's Charm, so they've got a free attack. I think you can't play Dress Down in response there, just drawing 2 dead, so I have to hope they never see a counter at that point. Yeah, but like, if they see a counter, I'm just dead. If I Dress Down, then at least I'm still alive. But just that no attack, I don't understand in the slightest. Like, what are you afraid of with 2 mana up? That one's kind of beyond me. One more cut. I'll just cut an extra hand disruption spell. Like, you've got... I have to deal with 2 creatures to not die, including the Murktide. There's not a lot of 1 mana interaction that kills Murktide, because like nobody's playing Murderous Cut right now. So even if I've got like a Drown in the Loch or something to kill the Murktide, you still just kill me with the Ledger Shredders. So I'm at a loss there. That's a lot more stubborn denials than I would like to see this early. Don't think there's anything I'd really like rather have than stub. Alright, so really glad they don't have like a hearse there. I wouldn't mind start off with an expressive iteration here. Land's good. Now I can fetch out basic swamp if I need to kind of play around Blood Moon. Yep. Like, opponent's got to know something's up if I'm not adding Giganta here. Sure. Alright, so we'll let the Surveil go. Then soft stub this counter spell. Threat. Alright. Hold on to that for a second. So try to find a another way to lower our life to enable stub. Yep. See, this is like the part of the game where we start falling really behind. Because we've got all these 1-for-1s, and opponents just like getting 2 activations out of all their stuff. Tainted Indulgence. Yeah, let's go ahead and fire that off. That's a tough discard. Guess I'm just ditching Trophy. Opponent's got Delirium, so... So I probably have to fight over an Unholy Heat. But with 5 cards in hand, like, it's pretty unlikely they don't have Heat plus something else. Just so they can bolt the Shadow. You got it. Hold on to this Misty in case we find another Tainted Indulgence. Okay. We'll let the Ledger Treader trigger happen. I'm just going to go ahead and Infernal Grasp this here. So I can untap and play Giganta. And I do like that Giganta gives us, like, another enabler for Stubborn Denial. It's not the greatest enabler, but it's an enabler. Just like Shredder into Murktide. Gross. Deals with one of them. Fortunately, we're dead to the other. Ugh. I wonder if we're supposed to be running some number of, like, run-a-fouls. Maybe they won't attack again. I wish. Like, run-a-foul could be an option for dealing with Murktide or Shredder. So, maybe that's what I'm going to at least think about. Alright, what do we got for round 5? So far our losses have been to Murktide on a really weird no attack turn. Would have at least given us a game 3. No guarantee we would have gotten there, but it's a shot. And then the other loss was to the Esper-Food deck. On the top deck, Time Sieve. So, for the most part, I felt pretty good about this deck so far. There's certainly some spots here and there that we could adjust, but it's been doing its thing pretty well. So here we've got turn 1 Thoughtseize into turn 2 Tarmogoyf against Tron. So let's take Expedition Map. And we've got an Assassin's Trophy that can blow up a Tron land. So get down our clock. I'm a little surprised they didn't go for like the stirrings there, just to try to high roll into Tron, but there's no instant in the yard currently, so do I want to trophy? I think I'd rather like dress down this turn. Like, dress down on their second main phase. It gets enchantment in the yard for Goyf. Gives me a chance to draw into, like, a Stubborn Denial. Or they top deck a Relic of Progenitus. Man, I love me some Tron. Alright. So on today's episode of What's the Play, we have to decide whether we think our opponent will naturally draw the Tron land and have Ugin or not. And I think that they will, so I'm going to Assassin's Trophy a Tron land. Go ahead and get Goyf a point bigger. Does make Ancient Stirrings better if they didn't find the Tron land, but missing Tron land payoff for always on top. They are always on top. Ah, there's one of them. All right, let's start off with Tainted Indulgence, which does not find us something that we need. Get rid of Fatal Push. And then we'll play out Grist. See if we can flip over a way to grow our Goyf. Warping Whale to block. Sure. Alright. Show me the third Tron land. That's way better for me. They have an expedition map in their sideboard? What the heck? Why are you not playing 4 expedition map in your deck? Oh, map got exiled. You're right. You're right. You are right. Alright, so I need to save the Blood Chief's Thirst for the Ugin. So I'm going to attack both at them. Add Gigantha to my hand. Grist will sack the insect to kill the Karn. Play land, set, go. Yep, you're right on the exile with map. Or exiled map with the relic. Ulamog, sure. So we need to top deck like exactly Thoughtseize. I do run one Nurturing Peatland. Yeah, we'll scoop it to Ulamog. Ugh. Rough. That relic draw hurt us so bad. Like, giving them the extra draw step plus shrinking our Tarmogoyf. Kind of want the second dress down over what? I don't think it's better than anything we've got in. But yeah, we've got the one peatland, and I wouldn't mind dropping the second Overgrown Tomb for a second peatland. I gotta ship this. Just like turn 2 Goyf with no interaction of any sort. Alright, this is a lot better. We've got Thoughtseize into Goyf. We got Trophy. So let's just ditch the Drown. Force of Vigor and Nature's Claim. You got them. Those can hit exactly Mishra's Bauble and nothing else. So we will take that one. Forest. Catacombs is a fine draw. I'm just going to play the second Goyf here. Let's see, I fiddled around. Now I'm not so hyped about it. Let's see. Let's see what you got. As soon as it loads up. Chromatic Sphere, sure. I guess I could Nature's Claim their own sphere. Sanctum, got it. Yeah, we'll pay the life in case we find a shadow. In case we find a shadow. So let's start with Tainted Indulgence. Puts instant in the yard and grows the Goyfs. Discard. Trophy. Play Shadow. Hold up Stubborn Denial. And then I just have Lethal next turn. I shouldn't have cracked the fetch there. I should have held that up. So if they played like a relic, I could grow off relic or grow the Goyfs. And yeah, just submit it back. All right. So what have we got so far? Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Stub. Why not the 4th Gurmag? Oh, because you're playing Murktides. So I think the big thing is not... That's a lot of lands. I would cut some Drowns, Tainted Indulgence, an Archon, and like 2 Murktides. Add the 4th Gurmag in because you want to maximize the number of games that you have like Gurmag on 2 plus Stubborn Denial. And you need like Street Wraith and Bauble here because you're trying to get Gurmag out as fast as possible with like Stub back up and then Neoform the Gurmag. I don't think you care so much about like getting a big Murktide down late. You might like run a value Murktide. So like 4 Gurmag and 1 Murktide or something. But we're going to brew it up after this league. So I want all of your opinions there when I do that. I think I have to keep this. They're down to at least 6. Down to 6 exactly. Ooh, and you'd love to see your opponent leading on Forest Ancient Stirrings. Into something that I get to take with Inquisition. Oh, man. Nature's Claim. Sure. Let's go Water Grave, Inquisition U. Take the Expedition map. Play you. So we know Nature's Claim was their draw for turn. Play Star, sure. Drawing a Relic of Progenitus. Okay, so I'm going to get down the Gurmag Angler here to play around this Relic. So let's get a Overgrown Tomb is fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could see 2 Archon, 2 Dragon, 4 Fish, 4 Wraith. Yeah, I think that would be a better start. Stone, sure. Take Relic, cut off their redraw. And we're going to go ahead and play out the Tarmogoyf here. Speed up our clock a little bit. Okay. So they do have the ability to crack O-Stone next turn if they draw the land. So I'm going to trophy the power plant. Swing in. Yeah, if they miss the land right here, we got it. If they hit it, then it's going to become... Pray they don't hit the 6, because we can't beat Wormcoil from here. Yes! Oh, get wrecked, Tron. Alright, what do we think? I thought this list was really fun. Like, there were points where Dress Down was great. Grist was okay. We could probably cut the Grist. It's probably just like a little too cute. Everything else felt like it had a purpose. Blood Chief's Thirst. Maybe I'd rather find like another instant speed removal spell and just accept that I can only run 4 push in like the 1 mana spot. But it was fine. In the sideboard, Culling Rituals, the only iffy one. I might try out like a Crime Punishment next time over the Ritual. Just to be 1 less mana and have the flexibility of like hitting 0 cost when I've got a Shadow out or something. But I think that's about it. Like Infernal Grasp has been really good. We saw it. We saw Infernal Grasp be lethal against the Indomitable Creativity deck, where any other removal spell wouldn't have been. So that's usually what I look for with a lot of these lists, or a lot of these like fringe cards. And I don't think there was a point where we had Infernal Grasp and didn't have or be okay with paying the life. How do you feel about Tainted Indulgence? Seems to have acted like Consider most times. I'm still not a fan of the card. I think Consider... So, if you look at it mathematically, 50% of the time, Consider is going to see or get the top card of your library. 50% of the time, it's going to see the second card. Just like law of averages. So 50% of the time, Tainted Indulgence is going to see just as many cards as Consider. The difference is, like, Consider, you're drawing the second card blind, where Tainted Indulgence, you get to know what it is and discard, but you're paying the 1 more mana. More often than not, I would rather Tainted Indulgence be Consider, because I can play it on turn 1 if I don't do anything else. And that's really big for like fueling Gurmags and setting up those first couple of draws and turns. So from what I've seen, I would rather Tainted Indulgence be Consider. If you're playing like 4 Street Wraiths and no Giganta, then I think Tainted Indulgence gets a bit better. But at the same time, I don't think I've ever cast Tainted Indulgence between this list and like any of the UR Murktide Shadow lists where it's actually been 2 mana draw 2. I think every single time it's been 2 mana draw 2, discard 1. And that's just not mana advantage. Or card advantage. So it feels really bad when you play a Tainted Indulgence against a deck playing like Expressive Iterations. Maybe there's an argument for splashing the red for Expressive Iteration. Just throw like a Steam Vents and a what's it called? Blood Crypt in here. But I don't really want to stretch the mana that thin. Alright, so now we are going to brew. Let's see. So we're brewing Sultai, Turbo, Neo Angler. Because I want to do this. I do not